Welcome to Healing Step to Wellness with Mei and Dr. J, a space rooted in science guided by compassion.
This podcast explores how lifestyle medicine empowers individual and a community to thrive. So we we are just too excited. Well, well, welcome to the Healing Step to Wellness. And this is a May.
Hey, Dr. J,
So we have one bite at a time and
one step at
one
a
step
time.
at a time. All right. Well, it's our pleasure to have our special guest, Jessie Alison, at our show. It's always fun to work with Jessie, especially at a Midwest Access. That we have the opportunity to bring our health talk and a cooking tip and demo at the show. Beside that, we also know that Jessie has been very involved with the community event, especially charity event, and she has a big heart.
Yes, and Jessie is very passionate about the wellness too. Her past life was a registered dietitian, and her passion for the wellness led her to attend our community wellness symposium
Mm.
and gala. And so today is a pleasure. It's a nice opportunity to have a chat with Jessie.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored to get to be on your show.
Will be goofy today.
Okay. Well, Jessie, before we start our chat, would you please tell us about you and about you, especially as a Dr. J mentioned that in the past you also serve as a research dietitian in the healthcare field, and now you transition yourself to your current role. Apparently, you have a lot of fun. So tell us more about you.
Yes, well, thank you again for having me. And yeah, so thinking about how that has evolved over the years, when I was in high school, I grew up in like the early 90s when the fad was all to be this skinny and no fat, and all these different things were really kind of in the culture. My dad was really interested in nutrition and really interested in beyond the fads, like what's the science behind this. He was always super interested also in working out and weightlifting and that kind of thing. So
Oh.
I think as a girl who loved her dad, I kind of hung out with him and was interested in what he was interested in, but really became fascinated with how what we eat has such an impact on our health, and how we can actually change the course of our life by the things that we choose to put in our body. So became very interested in that, and then looked into going into that as a career. And so I studied at NDSU, is where I got my bachelor's degree in food and nutrition, and got to intern at several different places. So I got to do hospital dietetics and long-term care and sports nutrition and food service, even all these different things in your education, which was great. I thought for sure I'd fall in love with the sports nutrition or with working at a health club and that kind of a thing. And I ended up falling in love with long-term care and working with
Mm.
the residents there. Um, so loved that. I ended up doing that for 20 years, completely just, absolutely fell in love with that population. But also over the years, it really reiterated the fact that nutrition is so important in how our life, how it turns out with disease prevention and all those things.
Mhm.
Because, the unfortunate part about doing nutrition in long-term care is you don't have a lot of time anymore to affect things as
Mhm.
much with your diet
Mhm.
as you do when people are
Mhm.
younger.
Yeah.
But that, then I was raising kids at that time too, and so that was a very impactful for, I think, their life and for mine, to just know those things, that we really have more power over our health than we think we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, just like I said, just incredibly fascinating to me as a teenager, and continues to be to this day.
Okay, so let's take a step back a little bit.
Yes.
Tell us how you end up in Rochester, Minnesota.
That is a journey, isn't it? From long-term care in North Dakota. I always try to think of how I can tell this in any sort of short manner. But the journey took, so my kids, I was working in long-term care and my kids were growing up. The wonderful thing about working in long-term care for a mom was that the residents live there. So I didn't have to be there from 8 to 5. I could get my kids to school. I could work for a little while, get my kids home, go back to work in the evening. And that really served me well during those years. And then as they got bigger and were driving on their own and they didn't need mom, as much, then I started to kind of branch out and really, I started saying yes to things. I was about to turn 42 and I thought, I'm just going to start saying yes to opportunities that come my way. Little did I know there was a few crazy opportunities that were headed my direction. And one of those was running in a pageant, which I had never ever in my life thought that I would do. And so I was approached by a friend of mine who was the director of Mrs. North Dakota International. And she said, I'd really like you to run. And I said, you're crazy. Clearly, you have lost your mind. I've never even been to a pageant, much less, and I kind of thought, oh, I thought the women would probably be mean to each other. And I just thought that's not an environment I want to be in. Well, I was completely wrong. So it took her a year, but she finally just said, will you just please come and just have an open mind and meet these women? Well, so I did that. And they were incredible, just passionate, purpose-driven women who wanted to do better for their communities, who happened to also, like to wear dresses and heels, which, as you know, I love to do anyway. So it was a good fit. So through that experience, I did lots of coaching and personal development, things that came along with that. And I ended up being on TV more to talk about whether it be nutrition, or I was very involved in Girl Scouts. And so I'd be on our Fargo, North Dakota's version of Midwest Access called North Dakota Today, and do different interviews. And so I was kind of gaining this experience. And then out of the blue, well, first, I guess I have to back up and say that it took me 3 times, but I did end up winning Mrs. North Dakota International.
Wow.
So yeah, I had that title in 2019. And then there was no stopping the obnoxious Jessie being on TV and radio and, talking about Girl Scouts and all of those things. And so in that, a local radio personality was looking for a partner. His partner was going to have a baby and she was going to stay home. And he called me out of the blue and I thought it was a prank. I didn't believe him. And I auditioned to be on the radio, and that kind of really turned things in this direction of media. And so when I kind of started to see what an impact I could have by connecting people through media, through radio and then eventually TV, I really became passionate about moving in that direction. So long story short, I went from radio to TV in Fargo, and then one day this opportunity came up in Rochester to host the lifestyle show and be the executive producer. And I never thought I'd get it, but I thought, well, I'm going to interview for it. And then it ended up, I got to be here.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That is quite a journey. Wow.
Who
Wow.
knew in your late 40s you were, to completely change careers?
Well,
I,
okay, Dr. J, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, you don't look like 40. I
Oh, you were
probably can
so
tell
sweet.
I'm just saying I'm in my late 30s.
You're in your late 30s. Well, I am much older than you.
That's a joke.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, well,
Made.
yeah, right. So Jessie, in our experience working with you at Midwest Access, I remember when you share your experience and your passion in the nutrition, I just feel like the immediate click that you want to do more. And I think one comment you made is we actually we have more power over our health. We can do a lot more. And also, your profession is truly so important to spread the word. So please share with us uh, what what is really kind of excite you when as your role at the Midwest Access that you feel like you that serve your purpose and meaning.
Yeah. Well, I remember meeting you as well. And the first time you were on, and at that time I wasn't doing the scheduling, and I felt the same way. I just felt like, oh, I click with these people. The passion that you have, the mindset that you have, and what you're trying to do in the community. That's what those kinds of things are the things that light me up. And so I am so lucky in my job that I get to be in many areas. So I get to be in, food and nutrition. I get to also be, working with mental health or emotional health, or even just fun events and, volunteer opportunities and all those kinds of things that are going on in our community. Like I said, sometimes I think I can't believe this is what I get to do for a living. Shh, don't tell them, but I'd probably do it for free, but don't tell them. But it's those things though, like connecting with you guys that really, when you kind of have that feeling that, oh wow, this is something big, that if people could grab hold of it and realize what a change this could make in their life, it would be so powerful for them. And so those are the things I really, when I find that connection, I want to have them on the show, and I want to be able to, it is such a great avenue, like you said, to be able to help spread the word. And so here we have this community show where I just get to show people, maybe things they've never seen before. Or, I always think when you guys are on, many people feel so overwhelmed by eating healthy. They're
Right.
just they just feel paralyzed.
Right.
They do. They're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you make it so simple, and I think the combination of having Dr. J explain, the science and the facts, and then we move right into, okay, so here's those foods we talked about. Here's how you can prepare them, and it makes it. I mean, you do it in 5 minutes, and makes it simple and attainable for people to think, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I could buy those few ingredients, and I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those 5 minutes of a showing always fly by very fast.
Too
However,
fast. Yes, too fast. Looks like
the
I got
time
onto my spot there.
the time investment behind the scene, it's more than five. It's more than 5 hours, I have to say. I mean, it's more of a. I don't want to scare people away, but I mean, to think about what are the simple things that we can share, and the connection of all the recipe. I'm very kind of ambitious about. I want to show I want to start the appetizer, the main entree,
Yes.
and the dessert. But I also want to help people see the connection. Also need to link Dr. J's topic. So I think that's basically where I am coming from. I truly put a thought into the food
Oh,
I
yes.
display. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
you said, the preparation is so much that you bring. It's so valuable to our audience. It's wonderful.
yeah. And I also had to learn that don't overthink too much what I'm going to say, because I'll never know what Jessie is going to ask me.
Jessie doesn't always know what she's going to ask either.
The next question is, how do you balance journalism, the journalistic integrity, and your emotional storytelling?
That is a extremely good question, and I think it's something we have to continually ask ourselves and make sure that we're staying in integrity with what we believe, but also with what we are bringing to people. And so, with lifestyle, we've got a little bit more leeway. I can bring more emotion into it. I can bring more of that personal experience. It doesn't have to be just facts like it does for the news. But one thing I am really passionate about is, and this is always a little point of contention with the sales department, because of course, our GM always jokes, at the end of the day, we're coin operated. So the salespeople are always out selling things to different businesses. But I personally have a line for things that I'll promote and things I won't promote. And we'll see if that leads me to keep my job or not. But you know, not everything I think is something that I want to share with our viewers, that I want to promote. You know, I want to make sure the things that we're promoting are healthy and are, you know, aren't just that we're taking a paycheck and then letting people have airtime. And I don't want our viewers to, I want our viewers to be able to trust us. So that's something that's really important to me. It hasn't happened often, but I have had a couple of places that I just said, I just don't feel comfortable promoting that. I don't think that that is beneficial for people. And so far, they've been pretty kind to work something else out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is, I'm so glad you share that you kind of your belief of what is good for the public. So, for example, Lotus House Foundation hosts the annual symposium and gala, and we do not invite, we do not, I should say, we do not accept everyone to be
Yes.
the business sponsor, because we want to make sure the business sponsor or you know, business partner need to align with our belief and mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yes. So exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm tempted to bring up the couple, but I'm sure we probably have the same, you know, there's certain products. There's a lot of products out there. There's a lot of different things out there that I just, I don't think are beneficial. And so, yeah, we're not, like you said, if you don't align with it, then we have to say no. And that can be difficult, but it's, I think, ultimately for the best. You know, also, I'm certainly going to make mistakes at times. There's probably things that I've talked about that later I change my mind and I learn more. And then, but I hope that I can always be just honest with our viewers about that process, you know, and trying to bring them the best.
and I think when you create that quality of your show content, you earn the trust from the public.
Oh, good. That makes me so happy. That's what
That's
I want to
important.
do. It's
Yeah.
so important. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
important that we don't just sell airtime to anybody who wants it.
Right. Right. That's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Community Awareness Symposium. You attended the symposium last year. Uh, how do you feel?
It was so impactful. It was, first of all, the quality, the caliber of the people that you brought there was so impressive. These people from, you know, that are known worldwide to come and speak. It was incredible to get to sit in the room with them and hear what they had to say. So many things that were impactful. A couple of things that come to mind, you know, talking about hormones and just the changes in. I think we mainly talked about male hormones in that particular one, but just the change that has been over the last, you know, maybe 50 to 100 years, and what those changes look like. Of course, being in healthcare and in as a dietitian, you know, I've seen those things change, and so it was very interesting to find that out. What else was so impactful was they often gave us something we can do. So it's a lot to hear, like, okay, this, you know, our food is extremely processed, or there's some negative things happening, but here are things that we can do. I think of the brain docs who are like, just walk and eat leafy greens every day. Start there. It's like, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the food, that was such a benefit. First of all, the food is unbelievable, but for people who've not tried plant-based food before, like my husband, for instance, he was just blown away. He is a meat guy.
Uh-huh.
And boy, did that change what he thought about plant-based foods, and he loved it. And I think for so many people to get to try, you know, what we're actually what you guys are talking about, what the different speakers are talking about, it's like, here's this recipe. Now you get to try it. It makes you really excited to go home and make those things and make those changes in your diet.
Wow. I'm so glad you mentioned that. I do remember you and James sit at very front table and just I mean, so enjoy. You guys, I can tell, very enjoying the lecture, but also the food. And just like, wow, there's so many things to try. So
Yes.
I'm so happy that he was actually very happy, and now he is still talking about food. You know,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. We always have leafy greens in our fridge, and it's a daily thing. That was a very impactful couple of days,
Yeah,
definitely.
wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Um, so, on that subject, I have to, I think a lot of people bring out the brand health talk,
Yeah.
and how impactful your walk, your nutrition to help you improve the cognitive health.
Mhm.
And that also coincide what you mentioned. We underestimate our power to take charge of our own health beside the medication, beside the other medical treatment. And so I also realized that you are involved with a community event just the next
Yes.
week about the Alzheimer. Can you share with us about that?
Yes, with the and for Alzheimer's
Mm,
walk.
mm.
And yes, so that is an event at senior living, or excuse me, senior Meadow Lake Senior
Meadow
Living.
Lakes,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
We get to talk to so many people, so I apologize for that. But they're having their 25th celebration, anniversary celebration, and part of what they're doing is raising money for the walk to end Alzheimer's.
Mhm,
And there's so many things going on in our community. Like I said, it's
mhm,
so neat that I get to highlight these, but it is so important that we know that, kind of back to what you're saying, that we have some power there. It's not
mhm,
just this, oh well, I guess as I age, I'm going to get dementia, or I will end up with Alzheimer's disease. There's so much that we can do
mhm.
to help prevent that, and and we need to get the word out. And so I'm so glad I can play a part in that.
And then, you know, like this morning, I attended Women's Roundtable event through the Chamber of Commerce, and I know that several ladies right there actually promote the upcoming event. And I want to piggyback on this subject is when I ask people, what is your fear? In general, the health topic, and they say, I'm so afraid that I will lose my mind.
Mm,
A lot of people, they start to sharing that I have seen my parents, my grandparents, my friend, they start the cognitive health decline. And because of that, we want to create more opportunity for the community to learn about how powerful the right nutrition, especially eating the real food, will help us not only improve our overall weight, right? The cholesterol and the glucose, but also will help us improve our cognitive health. And then a lot of people do not make the connection. So we are going to have co-host the event with the Rochester Seventh Day Adventist Church about the food, the activities, the exercise, and a lot of the things, and to help people understand the connection. And so we have a guest speakers coming October 3rd and 4th. Um, on the other side, that I know, I kind of noticed that you not only help support a local event, but you also chip in your a dish for their fundraising. I mean, you just kind of do a lot of things to make it to be part of it.
aw.
So, what other charity event that you also involve?
So coming up, it is so fun. It's such an honor to get to do those things. But coming up, James and I are actually going to be emceeing the Habitat for Humanity Gala.
Mhm.
And so, they do amazing things in our community, building homes for people and bringing those people in to put in their own, like sweat equity in the home. And I just can't imagine the feeling of building your own home and going from, not having that for your family to be able to provide that for your family. So we get to do that. We get to do a lot of fun things like that, either me on my own or with James. Coming up here in October too, I always do an event that's called Bras Off Broadway, where we raise money for breast cancer patients who are doing, like if it's even just for, like for gas to be able to get to their appointments and back, or for groceries, or kind of those other things that are tough to make ends meet when you have such a medical diagnosis like that, or when you're not able to work. And so yeah, I'm lucky to get to be in part of those things.
Wow.
So through your community activities and all your interviews, have you noticed any shift in how the local audience engage in the wellness topics, wellness content in the last few years?
I have seen positive both for wellness, but also for diversity. I'm seeing too. And so recently I did a talk with a lady last spring when we had that horrible incident in the park where that little boy was called a racial slur. So a friend of mine, her name is Shaletta Brundridge from the cities. We'd done some interviews before, and she's a Black entrepreneur and media host, but she's also a mom. And we just had a very honest conversation about, me just being a regular old white mom raising white kids, not knowing what it's like to be a Black mom, or, to be in a different race, to feel what that feels like. It's very easy for me to think everything is wonderful and no one even knows those terrible words, much less calls a child that, but that's not realistic. And so we had a great conversation and did an interview, and the response to that was really good. I was, you never know what the response is going to be, but people were really excited about just having a normal conversation with your friends. And I've had a lot of feedback about people that have said, it's really made me think when I'm at the grocery store, when I'm at the mall, wherever, when I'm in my workplace, that, not everybody's experience is the same. And to believe them when they tell me, it's kind of tough. It's tough for my kids in school, or it's tough in this environment. And we actually got nominated for an Emmy for that piece. So that was really cool too. I mean, of course it's fun to, get an award, but what I think is even better about it is that I hope it can reach more people, with using that platform, that hopefully we can reach more people. And we just want people to get connected with things that improve their life, to understand each other, where we're coming from, and to have a more united and compassionate community.
Wow. Wow. Wow, that is so true. And I really admire people like you have that talent to be able to um, do a very impactful work, but also enjoy it.
I feel like it's just fun for me, May. I'm like, there's of course there's behind the scenes stuff that, it's work. Every job is a job, but for the most part, I mean, I get to have the most fun and meet the greatest people. It's just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So what role do you think that regional media play? I think we probably answered a little bit, touched it a little bit, but
Yeah.
just in your opinion, what you think that the media plays building a culture of a health and connection that you feel like we should do this more.
Yes. Yes. I think we really have to think about what we focus on and what we, whether it's the news or lifestyle or whatever it is, we push a lot of what people, the information that they take in, kind of going back to my early 90s where all we heard was, low fat and everybody was this skinny, or we thought we thought that was what we were supposed to attain. I think in media, we need to take that responsibility very seriously, that the things that we choose to do stories on and the things that we choose to highlight give people a view of the world that can change the course of their life. So if we're focusing on things like, eating real foods, proper health and nutrition, healthy weight, giving them the message that you have power over your health, that you have, the ability to dictate a lot of that. That's hopefully my goal, or my hope in the world would be that we would be able to have an influence then on people's attitudes towards that and their ideas of how that they can change and have a more positive life.
Yeah.
Talk about the ideas. So if you can design a dream segment of Midwest Assets, what would that look like?
Well, I always tell my boss what I would love to do is have a photographer with me all the time and have somebody to edit. And I just want to run around and meet people and see what they're doing, go into different businesses, and find out their stories, and then have, of course, unlimited time for my editor to edit that for me. I want to do all the fun. But I think having those like real conversations, sometimes our best conversations are when the camera goes off. And I wish I
That
could
is true.
capture all of those moments.
Right. That is so true. Sometimes depends on the mood, and
Yeah.
I can relate that.
Yeah. Well, we're so comfortable now with each other. I feel like we're able to just go. But a lot of people's first times, and it might be their only time, it takes them a while to get comfortable. And then, like I said, so many times the interview's over and then they tell me this, great story, or they tell me something more passionate from their heart. And I think, oh, I wish I could have all of that captured.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. So, what are the advice that you will give to someone who wants to share their wellness journey but doesn't know where to start?
So, of course, I would love to help you share your story. So you can contact me anytime. But I think just knowing that your story has value, sometimes we think, well, we don't think what we do is any big deal or very impressive, but everybody has a story. Every single person has overcome things that somebody else could get inspiration from. So I think just know that your story is valuable and worth sharing. And you can start with just telling your friend or telling someone in your family. But don't be afraid, and don't be afraid of people's judgment. I think either is I have found when I told very vulnerable things about myself, yeah, maybe somebody thinks less of me, but most of the time people come to you and say, thank you for inspiring me to get through this part of my journey. Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking ahead. You are invited to be the MC for our 2026 Community Wellness Symposium and Gala. What are the most exciting things you're thinking about to bring to this role?
Well, I'm so excited to get to hear all the speakers for one thing, and to get to be in the room. But I hope that I can generate some attention and interest to get more and more people there. I'm excited that hopefully I can bring that because of Midwest Access. And just to be able to highlight all the people that you bring, as well as yourselves, what you guys do in the community, and relay that importance factor, that I kind of is my hope for regional media or any media, that we can show with an emphasis on this, with covering these kinds of things, that this is really important. This is something that as a viewer, you're going to want to take note of. This is something that can be really powerful in your life. And so I'm just excited to be a part of it and to get to highlight it as much as I can.
Well, I'm
Okay.
so
Like the
excited.
microphone,
I'm so excited. As I remember at the event, you and James will capture breakfast before the event start and capture the people, attendees, and it's just you share a lot on social media, and those are just very fun to watch.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, I have to say
Good.
that it kind of it's a nice to see what is going on, and so.
Yeah.
We get to share with people, the potential attendees in the future for the next year's event, and say, hey, come, you will not regret.
No, you will not regret it. You will be so happy you came.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to remind James, don't just take pictures of you or videotape you. We still have the rest of the symposium right here.
That's good. We do need to remind him that he should take pictures of other people too.
Yeah.
but you share a very good story though. You kind of have, you kind of have you had a very good highlight. Say, look at this, and then you got your point. So I think that's fine. Really,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well,
So another thing is about because we talk about the Alzheimer, the cognitive health, the brain health, but we also have upcoming event on October 10th that Lotus Health Foundation is going to host the first Let's Beat Breast Cancer rally in Rochester, and this is an international event hosted, kind of organized by Physician Committee for Responsible Medicine. Their headquarters is in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So I know October 1st, we are going to have a team at your show.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you, so this will be the great opportunity to share the messages. So if you look at our the upcoming event, the breast that's be the breast cancer event, and what would be the key message that you think that, hey, this is a different that you excited about, can share
Yeah.
with the
Uh,
public?
Well, I think again, what you guys bring is not only the knowledge and the science behind the, what is going on, but how to change it. And you bring hope, and so I think highlighting that is you bring hope to it, that we can change the way that even if we're in a path that is maybe headed toward a disease or an outcome that we don't want, there is hope in changing that. And through diet, through nutrition, through exercise, through all of the pillars that you support and talk about with the Lotus Health Foundation. And so that's, I guess, what comes to mind for me is the hope that you bring.
Love it. So beautiful. The hope, that word. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
well, okay, Jessie, for listeners who feel like they're really inspired by your work and really want to talk to you or share your stories, what would be the best way for them to contact you?
Okay, I love this question. I want to connect with everybody. So my email is the absolute best way for me to get in touch with you. I have lots of emails, but I will get back to you. So it might take me a minute, but it is J Allison. So it's JALISON at kttc.com. jallison@kttc.com. Email me directly. That is wonderful. You can also go ahead and look on kttc.com under Midwest Access. We have a little button that says segment request, and you can fill out a form saying, hey, I would like you to talk more about this issue, or I'd like you to have these people on, or you don't have to suggest just yourself, but you can suggest some other things that are happening too. So we love to hear from you. And I'm so glad that this is where I'm at, but we have been so full of requests and people that we want to have on the show that now we're booking out about a month. But get in contact with us, and I will return the contact.
Okay. So that means, Dr. J, we better look at the availability few months ahead, because we want
Yes,
to make sure we attend the show in November
yes,
and
we need
December
you on
as
the
well.
calendar. Yes.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
just looking, and we're getting booked out, which is a great problem to have, but I'm kind of like, oh, slow down. I want to make sure I get everyone on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to make sure that I need to lock in a day in November and December, because
Awesome.
we have,
Yeah.
we will already secure October 1st, and Mayor Norton is coming to show with us.
That's so great. That was a
Yes.
wonderful idea. I was not sure she would be able to do it, and I'm so glad.
And I'm so, I'm so grateful that you open to suggestions, and so far it's never be a kind of a stupid request for you. That's how I feel.
No, they're great. I wish I could have more time when you
Yeah,
come.
yeah, that's true. Well, Jessie, do you have anything else that you would like to share with our audience? And we know that for sure we want you to come back.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I just want to share just a thanks, I guess, for welcoming me into the community. You know, I've only been here about a year and a half, and it's such a welcoming community. It's such a united community, and I think we have lots more that we can do and areas that we can grow in. But I'm just so thankful to be a part of it. And please share your stories, because every one of you has a very valuable story to share.
Wonderful.
Well, you're really welcome to Rochester.
Thank you.
So now we are closing our interview session with Jessie.
Well,
Dr.
thanks for
J,
joining
yeah,
us on Healing Step to Wellness. I'm Dr. J,
I'm Mei.
guiding you toward whole person health, one step
And one bite at a
at a
time.
time.
Thank
See you
you
next
for
time.
what, yeah, thank you. Yeah, see you next time. Yeah.